Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Eddie Marcus, again, spokesman and advocate of basic human rights for all people. Got a beautiful message for you today. Coming to you live from station WEBM. That's wonderful Eddie B. Marcus, operating smack down from the top of the sky, right to wherever you are. And the intention is that this message will overwhelm you and become a part of you, as essential to you as the blood that flows through your veins. And after it's done, perhaps you could like, make a comment, or subscribe. The message that I have for you today, you've heard me say a whole lot of things about changing the system and bringing a little heaven to the United States of America, making the resources of America available to, and that everyone could benefit from, and the essential platform for such an onslaught of the way things are is because of you. You the people. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to waste a lot of time talking about stuff you've already heard me say 1,000 times. What I want to do is get to the point. Now, when I speak about a change of system, let me give you some understanding what I mean. You know what kind of world we live in, those of you who are thinking, and those of you who accepted some form of indoctrination, and maybe all of you except those who just don't give a darn about anything. And even more than that, you know how America runs with the capitalist system and what we call democracy. We know how that is. We know how it affects people here at home and abroad. We know quite well what it does. We've seen America, as far as in my lifetime, brought to its lowest low as far as presentation to the world. I mean, we've always been ugly as a nation, but right now we are as ugly can be. We are worse than Germany back in the day when everybody was trying to get away from Germany. People now are trying to get away from us, but being driven away. And so all of that is the product of the way we do business here today. So this is a few of the reasons why I ask you to consider what I bring to you. Now, the first thing that I must share with you, and I want you to listen real well, because I'm going to need your support all the way to accomplish any of this, from heaven or not. This earth is the Lord's, and the fullness thereof, and they that dwell therein. Now, I'm sure you would agree with that, even if you believed in evolution. It all belongs to God. Everything. The air that we breathe, the day that we see, the night that closes our vision, the food, the trees, the grass, the minerals in the earth, all of the resources that's in the earth, on the earth, above the earth, seen and unseen, is all without our input. And we ourselves, without our input. And we are put together with some very, very unique kind and wonderful systems that allow us to be more than rag dolls. Give us the ability to do amazing things. I'm not saying everything, but amazing things. And we all got desires and wants. You and I will agree on that. There's things that we all want to do, and I'm saying to you that even that comes from your maker that's driving you a certain kind of way, and only when you find that, address that, where you find your greatest happiness. I want you to understand where I'm coming from, ladies and gentlemen, because I can't do a thing without you. So I want you to understand my mindset, and maybe you can adjust yours. Here we are in the middle of all of this, and we are required to do something about it, or keep on going, or keep on going. And so the message that is as clear as day to me is that since every last one of us got this desire to be somebody, to do something, is to open up that door and let it happen. And any constitutional provision that would inhibit any of this from happening must be scratched out of the way and erased. Make a note of that. And that basically is to put each and every last one of us workable to a career of our own choosing. We're not just going to a job. We're going to something that's going to give us our greatest reward by exercising. And if you need any additional training, the schools have been set aside to do all of that additional training that you might need to qualify yourself to be the best that you can be at whatever it is you've been given today, that your heart is in. Education, my friends, in the system that I speak to you of, is free. As long as you're in school for whatever you need, it's free. And all of these businesses operate the same way. The people who got the greatest love for them rain down. And the only evidence of their love is how it affects the one at the bottom. And if it affects the one at the bottom as uniquely as it does the one at the top, is okay. If it affects it any other kind of way, it's counterfeit. Keep that in mind. Make a note of that. And so I'm saying to you that all things exist by God's creation. Whether it's the resources, which includes us, and exercising our gifts, whether we do it because we love it or because we're trying to make some money, we do it nevertheless. And all things that exist by the hands of man were made by you and I. All of you who are working so far, everything that exists was made by you. Each of you. Every last one of you played a role in the finished product. Now, in truth, by doing that, every last one of you have ownership in all that is created. The only people that wouldn't actually have direct ownership to it are those that's unemployed. And by them being unemployed within a system that does not have any plans that would put them in operation, that would put them in a position to exercise their gifts. If the system is so short of the truth, then the people become responsible for those that's without. But not just the handout, the same things that you are receiving from the system. And what I'm also saying to you, ladies and gentlemen, is this. That with a system like this, I call it the heavenly system, we do things because it is given. Each of us have requirements for survival. And each of us got some special gift that plays a role in preparing and manifesting whatever it is that aids our survival. So we owe that to one another. That's not anything that's debatable. That's a fact. That's a birthright. And so as we engage ourselves to do that, we recognize we don't need money. We never needed money. If you look at it, money was only a means of controlling people. Money was only a means of manipulating people. Rather than have all that you would ever dream by working together, now you want to have the best you can have because you're following a system that says if you got more money, that's all the God you need. And it will give you the ability to do this or to do that. But even the system like that, ladies and gentlemen, ties you down. That's why you have white-collar crime. That's why you have people still trying to get more and more because they want to do more. And they're living in a system that denies them that profits from crime and violence because that's what it's made of. I just threw that out there because I know you already know that. But the whole purpose is for you to recognize that the reason that there are people that own the oil wells, that own all the major corporations, the reason that they own it is because we live in a system that permits them, under the rules and guidelines that they set for themselves, it permits them to own it. Legally, it's proper. Legal means you as a nation of people have seen the ins and outs and you made a choice on how you want to operate. The problem is you didn't see the whole picture. The whole picture, the main picture was left out. And that is this, is that you don't need money that separates you, that divides you, that makes people lie and cheat and steal and kill, make them terrorize and go to war just for trying to maintain a mediocre life for some. You don't need that. You got the power to straighten it up, ladies and gentlemen. This is what I'm counting on from you. The power to straighten it up. But you can't be half-stepping. And so when I say whatever the industry is and whoever owns it, by power of the moral standards of life, they have to turn that loose. Why? Because it belongs to God. And its purpose is to serve all of us. That's the purpose of all of the resources that we use from the earth. Whether it has to do with food, whether it has to do with clothing, whether it has to do with housing, whether it has to do with transportation, everything basically comes from the earth except our labor. So it is for the benefit of the human race. And that's the way God wanted it to be. That's the way it is done in heaven. That's the way every last one of you can be satisfied. And that's why I'm standing before you telling you that we will have to, not by means of fighting, but by reasoning, bring all of the resources of the earth back under the control of the people. Region per region got their own governors. And as we learn what it is to work together, as we learn to see heaven being created right here in our midst, we'll watch it. We'll support it to grow around the globe because there's nothing like it. So yes, we have to, you've heard of this, I'll come to me later. But they got some system that they can utilize. Eminent domain, I believe one of them. They can come and make some plans about something that involves you, probably some property. And they can, by virtue of this here ruling that they got, can come and take what is yours and do what they plan to do with it. They might pay you, they might not. They can do that under the law. But the moral law says if they did that, that was wrong. And the moral law says what they have done, the system that they have set up, they did it. Don't get angry with them now. They did it because they didn't know any better. When they did it, that was the best they knew of. When they did it, it was the best they knew of. So don't get angry with them. The problem is that all of you have been suckered by it and you stayed here so long. But here we get a chance under this campaign. Eddie Marcus, I'm just going to say it, the next senator from the state of Minnesota, whose concern is that we create heaven on earth. And we need no obstacles, no laws that have been created amongst humankind here in America. None of those laws will prevent us. None of those laws will prevent us as American citizens from reaping the benefits of our birthrights given to us by the Almighty God, requiring only that we exercise principles that would produce what we say we want. And we say we want peace. We say we want prosperity. We say we want joy in our lives. Trump isn't going to give it to you. No Republican can give it to you. No Democrat can give it to you. No dictator can give it to you. No king, no queen, no Pharaoh, no Caesar. It can only come from God, and the way God gives it to you, my friend, is by putting it in you. And you become the physical representation of whether you deserve it or not. You become the physical representation of whether the people collectively deserve it or not. This is how God works. Stop looking up for God to come down and work miracles in your life. That doesn't mean that God doesn't. Sometimes the only way he can get some attention is by doing a miracle to someone. And then they got holy hell trying to get somebody to believe it. So the message is, don't try to get anybody to believe it. You know it. That's all you need. Now you go forward and show the power by what only you have been given. And so I say these things to you, ladies and gentlemen, because we're going to need you to deal with all of these systems. We're talking about free education. We're talking about free health care from the womb to the tomb. We're talking about people having nice things, getting rid of trash, cleaning up our environment, cleaning up our highways and our bust up roads and stuff, fixing those things like they really should be fixed. making sure that our transportation system is beautiful wherever you go. You don't see any ragged cars, they are demolished. And new cars, and recognizing that with all the people that will want cars, these wonderful cars sitting in these car lots, all the town would just be so crowded, bumper to bumper. And I know you just go crazy about that. But that's a purpose. When it gets bumper to bumper like that, or when it's getting like that, you will see the initiatives in men and women that have been guided by the Spirit of God, whose imagination will start booming. And the next thing you know, we'll have all kinds of advancements within our technological atmosphere. We'll have all kinds of things working for us so that we, like children of the Almighty God, can still pursue the daily activities. And cars might just be a little luxury that people look at. But we can't get held down, bent down, because we're caught up in a trap, somebody pimping us. So I'm asking you, ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you right up, I'm not speaking just for black people. And I'm not speaking just for men. And I'm not speaking just for Minnesotans and citizens of the USA. I'm speaking for what is right for all human beings on the face of the earth. All I'm asking right now is for Minnesota to give me a platform in Washington, so I can speak the truth to them, so I can stand for the truth for them, represent what the truth actually means in regards to we the people of the United States of America, bringing heaven to our country, bringing those things that make sure that all those that are hated or been hating will be satisfied. Those who have been hated will be, excuse me, satisfied. The goings and coming of the day will be satisfactory. No lying, no cheating, no stealing, but peace, prosperity, and joy. That's what I want. That's what I'm asking those of you who say you love God. Now, you don't have to do this. I'm talking to those of you who love God. You don't have to do this. You might think this is straight out of the pit of hell. You might think that this is one of the biggest con games and foolishness you ever heard. That's okay. If that's the way you feel, that's the way you feel. But if you also feel deep down in your heart that you've been waiting for a day when the truth could finally meet your truth, and you know that it's true, then I'm asking you beyond a shadow of doubt, you know it's true. So if you want to stand up, the choice is yours. We all come into knowledge. The truth and the love is what we're going to do with that. Are we going to stand up, or are we just going to keep sitting down for a hope in a better day? A day without us. Ain't that crazy? I really didn't mean to talk that long. I just wanted to say something about how we're going to take over the system. We're going to talk about, some people talking about the government too big. Republicans want to reduce government. Big government, they could call it moving to the left, say that's Democrats, but they don't move far enough. And then here comes the government talking about heaven's government. Now heaven's government is dominated by everything. Everything. Heaven's government represents everything on the earth. And even you, when you put back the bull that you've been trained to believe. And that's not going to just come to you. That's not going to come to you. You're going to have something that draws that message to you. You're going to have to change. You're going to have to want to change. You're going to have to know the truth. You're going to have to want to be free. And when you are ready, then that spirit will come to you, and then you can see clearly. This time you won't have to smoke a joint or do crack or anything like that. You'll just be able to have a pure heart, and the spirit of truth will speak to you. And in that moment, you still have a decision. Do you want to walk in the truth, or do you want to walk in the dark? You know there's no excuse for a person who knows the truth that walks in the dark. There is no excuse, and there probably won't be no booty whooping like you gonna get when you knew the truth and ignored it. So I'm just saying, if you know the truth and don't want to show it, that's all right. This message is about what the truth and walking according to the truth gives. And as always, the choice is yours, not mine, not my party of one, just us making the decision for us. Because now we are the government, and we are our representatives, because we say what is moral and what is good, and we judge that based upon how it benefits everybody. So we don't have to be sitting on a job at a desk. We just do our jobs daily and enjoy life. We can see any viruses coming upon us, and we'll deal with that. I want to thank you so very much, ladies and gentlemen. This really took a long time, and I surely give you honor and praise for staying here so long. And I hope I haven't wasted your time. That was not my intent. I just wanted to give you some facts about what I talk about doing, how I see that being done, and recognizing that I can only do it with your support. And understanding that for the most part I might not get it, but at the same time recognizing that beauty and truth and life and love will drive people to go to places that sometimes are not popular. I heard somebody say once that, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. Why? Because of what I'm doing and the reason that I'm doing it. Bye-bye.